What happens when you ignore your pain for so long that you lose an organ? In this raw and powerful episode, Nicole shares her deeply personal story of living with undiagnosed endometriosis that silently damaged her kidney to the point of surgical removal. For years, she was told to lose weight, given surface-level answers, and left feeling unheard, until her symptoms became too intense to ignore. Inside, we explore how years of medical dismissal led Nicole to distrust her body and how she's rebuilding that trust. We understand the moment she realised she could no longer sweep her symptoms under the rug, the emotional toll of losing a kidney and how health anxiety now shows up in her life, her decision to come off hormone-suppressing medication after several mental health side effects, and how finally she's reconnecting with her body through gentle movement, mindfulness, and compassion. This episode is a reminder that just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal, and that no symptom should be ignored just because you've been told to get on with it. Remember, this podcast is for educational and emotional purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional for your specific circumstances. Welcome back to the What's My Body Telling Me podcast. We have another relatable health episode, and today we're joined by Nicole. Nicole, I wanted to start by asking, why was it that you wanted to come on and share your health journey with us today?
The last couple of years have been quite traumatic, and knowing that if I had caught my problems maybe 5 or 10 years ago and followed up with specialists, and then I could have avoided where I've been today, avoid the trauma that I've been through, and if I can help someone else not have to go through that, then yeah. That's pretty much it. I follow you and it resonated, and I thought, oh, yep, maybe it's time to share.
Well, thank you so much I know it's a very brave thing to come on and share something that's so deep and personal, but as you said, you're not alone in what you've experienced. And I've read through your story, and I know a lot of women that have been through similar things. Even though your story is always going to be unique to yours, I know it's going to help a lot of people. So where did your story start?
A couple of years ago, I got really sick and my health was just starting to decline, just spending more time in bed. I was putting it down to lifestyle at the time, not looking after myself. And then my periods were also very, very heavy and painful. And, I just got so used to doctors saying that's just a typical endometriosis sign. That's normal. I'm a mum. I've got two young kids, and actually there was a fear of it being like a malignant type of issue for me. I fear, and then it's really weird. You would think that I would have gone the other way and gone to go get it checked up on, but it was like, I don't really want to know if that is the case. If something really, really bad's going on, I don't want to know. So I just ignored it and put it in the back of my head and just rolled over it every month in pain. And then it got to a point and I was vomiting every day for a couple of months, and I thought, I can't do this anymore. I need to go to the doctor. And it was found that I had a really swollen kidney, and so we were at that point. It was quite like, yeah, you've got a really swollen kidney. We need to get this checked out with a specialist. And when they did their checks, found out that endometriosis had grown into my urinary tract and blocked my kidney and caused all this swelling, which could have potentially been happening for a couple of years without me knowing. There were really slight, small, discrete symptoms, like I said, that I was just ignoring.
What were those types of symptoms?
I had metallic taste on the back of my mouth. My blood pressure had gone up. Sorry. Just like I said, the sleeping, the lethargy. Yeah. There was a lot of real little things, disturbed sleep.
When you're experiencing these things, like if you could time travel, it would be helpful if we could time travel. It would be so nice, wouldn't it? But if you could time travel back to that version of you then, not knowing the things that were going to be coming, what was going on in your mind then? Like, how were you feeling with, okay, I've got some trouble sleeping, my blood pressure's gone up, I've got this metallic taste. What was going through your mind, or what were you thinking about those signs and symptoms from your body?
I was scared,
Okay.
and I was scared, and I guess I didn't want to be confronted with what might be going on. As I said, I had, really, really bad periods as well, and I thought it's something going on down there. I was scared at the time that the doctors would. So I'd been fobbed off for years with my period pains. Got used to the doctors saying, "Oh, it's this or it's that," or "I'm an overweight girl." You think you lose some weight, your blood pressure will go down. I guess I just thought I didn't want to hear it. I was scared. I was scared mostly, and I just tried to ignore it. I'd just soldier on and ignore, and it would go away, and it didn't
Mhm.
go away. Yeah. The doctors for me prior to the last couple of years, um, with the pain and things like that I'd experienced were very easy to put it down to other things. Yeah. I did actually get a lot. If you lose weight, things won't be as bad, and it gets to that point where I just don't want to hear it anymore.
Mm.
So I just ignored it until it got that bad, and then I was at a situation where my kidney only had 4% function left, and they needed to take it out.
Mm. How did you feel when you were finally diagnosed and learnt the extent of the damage and knowing that you needed to have your left kidney removed?
I felt angry. I felt angry that I hadn't been heard by the doctors for the last sort of 5 years. I felt kind of justified as well. I felt like I finally had an explanation
Mm.
as to why I had experienced so much pain. Yeah, I felt it was very, I felt a little bit, I felt resentful. I felt a big bundle of emotions, to be
Mm.
honest. Resentment and, yeah, I felt happy that I had a name to what was going on and that it wasn't more serious. I mean, it was pretty serious, but it could have been worse. I felt relieved. I'm really only now, it's sort of like a year and a half since I had my kidney out, and I'm really only now kind of recovering mentally from that part of the journey.
Mm. How has having your left kidney removed affected you physically and emotionally?
It's been scary because, I've got a lot of health anxiety, thinking that, if it could slowly take my left kidney without me knowing, basically, then what's to say the same thing is not going to happen on the right side? I think I've drove my doctors crazy with needing to get kidney checkups, but I'm happy to say I've got a very healthy right kidney. I've had lots of scans and lots of kidney function tests done, and
Mhm.
it's coping very well. Doing the job basically of both kidneys. I mean, my kidney function has come down a little bit from someone that would have two kidneys, but yeah, so just a lot of health anxiety, a lot of health anxiety.
Yeah. Have you noticed that you've had to make lifestyle changes with only having one kidney? Like, is there certain things where you have to maybe go to the bathroom or
Yeah,
change what you're eating, or like, is there any changes that you have to make only having one kidney?
I have to make sure I drink a lot of water. I have proper hydration. I aim for about 3 liters a day. I know if I don't, my kidney function will drop. I have given up alcohol. So I gave up alcohol when I knew that my left kidney was not well, and not too much, to be honest. I just have to take care, like make sure I'm not eating mountains of salty things, and um, just make sure. I mean, they're the lifestyle changes I've made. Just got to try and keep on moving in a healthy eating direction. Um, I don't drink
Mm.
anything really but water, the occasional coffee. Um, but obviously I don't have confidence and things like that.
You've changed some things to be caring for your physical body in a different way now that it looks a little bit
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm. That's great. So when you mentioned before there's this health anxiety after you said you feel like you're driving your doctors crazy because you're
Mm.
concerned about that right kidney, and you feel safer and calmer knowing and having the scans and being like, okay, it is functioning well. There's, if you feel like that anxiety could speak to you, what do you think the anxiety would say?
I have to do a lot of self-talk because obviously um, it is only anxiety and a fear. Just I'm very cautious of little minute changes in my body now. A lot of like UTI kind of sensations. So if I feel like I've got a UTI, it would be like, it's impossible to get into a doctor these days. So some days I would even go to the hospital. Um, and yeah, just I'm very conscious of different sensations and feelings in my body. But yeah, like I said, I have to do a lot of self-talk and, it's really, this isn't really like, yeah, it's hard to put it into words. This isn't history repeating itself, basically, because it just gets ridiculous and it just consumes me. Yeah.
It's developing that trust. And this can be anxiety around anything. It can be health anxiety, it can be anxiety about
The
the
kids,
the kids, relationships,
finances.
anything. Anxiety is that
Yeah.
like I feel out of control and I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I'm missing something. I don't want to miss something now. And that
Exactly.
seems like what you were mentioning. It's like, oh, I don't want to miss like how I feel like I missed this kidney that wasn't working and now I needed to get removed. But it's interesting
Yeah.
when you were saying this you're like, I feel like I missed it. How do you feel when you say to yourself, I missed it?
Disappointed, regretful, if I'd just gone to follow things up a year prior or even, a couple of years prior. Um, so I do remember a time when I did go to the gynecologist about, it was within 5 to 10 years ago. And he said to me, we didn't talk about endometriosis then. No, he was talking about going in for an ablation. He said, but don't put any weight on because then we won't be able to do the surgery at the local hospital. And I did put on a lot of weight within a month. And in fact, a lot of it I think was like fluid weight because it was like something like 8 kilos. And in hindsight, I really should have got that checked. But I was just scared. Like that was his parting words for me. Don't put any weight on. And as an overweight person, I've heard that a lot. So I put this weight on and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to go back. So I didn't go back. He's actually my doctor now. And he's like, well, you should have come back to me. And so regretful. No, I can't blame myself. It is what it is.
When you started the conversation, you're saying, I feel like I missed it. I missed the warning signs. I had things, but also at the start of the conversation, you were like, oh, I noticed that I had these heavy periods, or I was feeling like my sleep was changed and I had all these issues. So you did notice these signs and symptoms.
Mm,
You are attuned to your body. So when you're saying, oh, I'm worried that I'm going to miss it, you're so attuned to the
mm,
signs and you always have been. It seems that there's possibly an underlying thing where you said, I was aware of them, but I was scared of what they might be.
yeah.
So then put it off. So how does that sit? Do you feel like that pattern plays out anywhere else in your life?
I try not to like put things under the rug anymore. I try to confront things now. I mean, it's been a really hard couple of years with my mental health, a lot with the medicine that they've put me on to suppress the endometriosis now has really affected my mental health.
That's a medication
Yeah,
that blocks estrogen, is it?
yeah, yep, yep. And in fact, I've just come off it because I couldn't cope with the mental side effects. So, um, it's one thing being physically ill, but then being mentally ill as well. It's really, really hard to deal with. But yeah, I guess I've got to just try and not sweep things under the rug anymore. I'm getting, I'm very on top of it with regards to physical health symptoms now and making sure I'm following things up and that doctors are listening to me. Um, and yeah.
Yeah, often it's really interesting the wording that you're using because I felt like this personally myself. And also, I went and watched, I'm not sure whether you've heard of Gabor Mate before. He's a doctor and he talks a lot about, he has a book, he has many books, but one of the books is called When the Body Says No. So it's basically where our body, and this is my belief as well, our body is always looking out for us. Everything that we do, whether it's our patterns, our behaviors, our physical manifestations of symptoms, they're all our body trying to help us. Even though maybe that behavior that we're doing or that belief that we have about ourselves isn't actually really helping us anymore. But it's there for a reason. Our body's been trying to help us. So he had this example of a woman who this is at the conference, and why I'm saying this is because I think it might help you understand what could be going on underneath the surface as well and see whether it rings true to you or not. And the example is there was a lady and she said, "Oh, I'm feeling really angry and frustrated because my partner that I was with, I found out that he was an alcoholic and he was hiding it from me the whole time. And now we're no longer together. And I just am so angry, one at him because I feel like he wasted my time, but also angry at myself because I didn't pick it up. I didn't know. I didn't realize. And I didn't pay attention to the warning signs." And he said, was there ever an instance in the relationship where you felt like something wasn't right, your gut was telling you something wasn't right, and you ignored it? And she said, only a million. So he said, there is actually nothing wrong with your gut instinct. It's that you, at some point in your childhood or in your life, you learnt that ignoring that symptom is the best thing for your survival. You needed to do it. Lying to yourself was the thing that helped you. So when I say that to you, does that bring up anything for you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the level of pain and intensity that I've dealt with every month, I now know which was completely not normal. But yeah, I just remember sitting on the couch, sitting on the floor one day, folding washing or something, and feeling that pain, and I was just scared. I was just really scared, and so I just try and forget about it because I didn't want to know what was going on. Yeah, I guess that was like my coping mechanism, my way of trying to protect myself from the truth. And yeah, definitely, I understand
Mm.
what you're saying.
And that can be a really powerful thing to recognize because we have all, I would say, everyone that's listening to this in one area of our life or another have known something and been like, oh, I'm just going to ignore that. And we ignore it for some reason or another. It's basically like I can't deal with what actually might be on the other side of that. And
Isn't
that
it funny? We can like how much as women like we can take before enough is enough. Like it come to me literally being sick every day for 3 months before I went, okay, I can't take it anymore. I can't keep on lying to myself. I need to sort this out. We just get on with it.
So when you say keep on lying to yourself, is there anything at the moment that you feel like you're lying to yourself about?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I would say that I use sugar as a coping mechanism. For me, I've been like heavily addicted to chocolate my whole life, and I would be lying to myself if I said that I probably should be giving that up. Like, and that I'd be lying to myself if I was saying that, it's okay to just keep on eating sugar. Apart from that,
That's
I mean,
that's a big thing in and of itself to
yeah.
acknowledge because and also when you say addicted to, an addiction isn't the problem. It's you creating a solution to the underlying problem.
Mm,
So and if someone is addicted to heroin, it's the feeling that the heroin gives them that they want.
mm,
And what do they say? I feel calm, I feel ease, I just feel I can rest, I can breathe. It feels like a warm hug. So when you eat chocolate, What's the feeling that you get from it?
Probably the three things you just said,
Mm.
Yeah, at the end of the day, and because I'm not as mentally strong as other people, and I'm still dealing with chronic pain on a daily basis. More severe around that time of the month, and it gives me a warm hug and says it's okay. I'm going to make you feel better. That's probably how I feel. I also try and tell myself that I deserve it, after battling through. So, one of the medicines that I spoke to you about, the estrogen suppression medicines, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, Zoladex, has left me with this arthritic condition, polymyalgia rheumatica.
Mm-hmm.
So, all my joints in my body, like my shoulders, my hips, my knees, my ankles, everything just aches so bad. So, just dealing with that level of chronic pain and at the end of the day, it just makes me feel better.
Mm. So if you were, and you use those words, deserve, I deserve it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and you do deserve to feel calm, loved, like a warm hug. You deserve all of those things.
Mhm.
Is the chocolate giving you those things now? Yes, it's giving you those
In the moment,
instantaneously.
yeah.
Does it give you that in the long run?
No, no.
So is there something that you could do that gives it you that now? The feeling of, because it's the feeling underneath that we want.
Mm.
It's the calm, it's the safe, it's the love, it's the warm hug. Is there anything that you could do now that gives you that now, and also, gives the future version of you that?
I think so. I think so. I would like to practice more mindfulness, more like we did that breathe at the beginning, and just breathing more positive affirmations, things like that. They don't come like second nature for me. It is, it's something I have to kind of try and do. So where eating chocolate, I'll go and do that like completely, and I'll eat a bit of chocolate and I'll go, well, what did I just do? It just
Mm.
happens and I don't even realize I'm doing it. So, yeah, those sort of things I would like to practice more because I believe that they would help me.
Mm, definitely. And it's just sometimes taking a step back and going, you're not a bad person for eating and devouring chocolate or being addicted, whatever the languaging you want to use is. The chocolate is giving you the thing that your body wants, and you get it instantaneously. But an addiction, the definition of it is that it's not helping you in the long run. It's not a
Yeah,
helpful thing in
yeah.
the context of your life. So often we assume that our bodies are betraying us when we're experiencing conditions like this. But what if instead of betraying you, like for instance with the polymyalgia rheumatica, with the pain everywhere, with the endometrial pain, what if instead of the belief of this was a sign that your body was betraying you, what if your body was actually trying to protect you in the only way that it knew how? So, how do you think
Yeah.
your body would be trying to communicate this to you?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my body was trying to communicate those things to me through those little signs and symptoms. And, um, it's funny. Have you heard of spinal flow?
Yes.
Yeah, I was getting some spinal flow done before I knew what the root cause of this kidney issue was. And I was getting these like electric shocks down in my abdomen, like my pelvis was sometimes like vibrating after I started doing spinal flow. And yeah, there was just all those little signs, I believe was my body trying to protect me, trying to alarm me of what was happening.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I'm not too sure.
Time for a body break. This isn't just a moment to skip, it's a moment to connect, especially if what we've been chatting about has stirred something up. Take a breath in and place a hand over your heart. And breathing out, connect to the beat underneath your hand. Can you feel it? This is your body's way of saying, I'm here and I've got you. What do you do for your body to show it love? Like, when do you feel loved by your body?
So I mentioned that I stopped taking the hormonal suppression medicine because I was struggling to get out of bed every day. I'd kind of get out of bed at 2:30, go and pick the kids up from school, come back and go back to bed until it's make dinner time. I know when I go to the pool and go for a walk in the pool, I do feel really, really good. I've moved my body in a way where it doesn't hurt, and that is something I am working on now. I was doing it, but then when the mental health started going down, it didn't happen. But started again, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's something I want to continue to do. I'd like to get to a point where I can go for a walk, but everything really hurts. I could walk in the pool and it doesn't hurt as much. Yeah.
And that's amazing. And that's the thing. It's you meet your body where it's at and you're paying attention to how it feels and you're giving it the things that it likes. Exactly what you've said. So I can hear in your voice what when we bring in comparison to how we feel like we should be able to do things. I should be able to go for a walk without pain. You would like to. Everyone would like to be able to go for a walk without pain. When we bring in shoulds because everyone else can do it and I should be doing these things, but when we do and we don't feel good, it's like, well, that wasn't what my body needed. Someone on an other extreme, I'm not a weightlifter by any means, but I could be like, well, I should be able to do a 50-kilo deadlift. I don't even know whether that's an impressive thing or not. I have no idea. But
Sounds impressive.
It does sound very impressive. Yeah. I don't even know whether that's too impressive. I'm not sure. But it's going, well, I don't feel good about myself when I am comparing.
Oh, yeah.
But when I go, oh, okay, actually, I really love going for a walk on the beach and being in the sunshine. And I'm like, my body feels amazing when I do that. But if I tried to do something else and my body didn't feel good, I'd be like, oh, but I should be able to do that. So in your case, where you're like, oh, I just love going for walks in the pool and I feel pain-free and my body feels really good and I can tell that my mental health and everything feels so amazing when I've done that, that's a sign from your body that you're listening to it and you're giving it exactly what it needs, as opposed to going, oh, well, I should be able to do that because why? Because everyone else can? It's like, well, that defeats the purpose. Shoulds always leave us feeling crappy about ourselves every time.
I have spent my life comparing to other people, and I was one of those kids in school that used to get bullied, and I've grown up comparing myself, and I guess not accepting myself for who I am and what I am and what I have to offer. And I'd say that that's contributed to my downfall, like with the last few years and not listening to myself because I was maybe comparing myself to, or that I'm not good enough and I should be better. But, I guess I'm in that stage now where I'm trying to rebuild and come in with a different look on life and a different look at myself and what I have to offer. It's funny. My kids, if I need a week in bed to recover with my period or something, they just love, as long as I'm there to give them cuddles, they don't care. They bring me so much joy. I've even through this journey, like I'm not a good enough mum because I am in bed and I'm dealing with pain right now, or I'm a terrible wife because I can't, I can't cook dinner tonight. Actually, last night I was in a lot of pain and my husband said, babe, can you take over? Like I've done, the salad, can you take over and cook the meat? I need to go to bed. And, but just trying to not blame myself anymore as well. It's quite difficult, when you're conditioned to feel a certain way. But, I'm trying to be more mindful of everything I can do, not the things that I can't do.
And this is sometimes when we are in this initial phase of awareness, we've become aware of like, oh my gosh, me comparing to other people, the bullying that I received when I was younger, or the things that happened when I was younger, me feeling guilt or shame that I'm not the mum that I should be or the wife that I should be. All of these things, it's not a nice feeling to be aware of them.
No.
But it also, the awareness is the exciting part because if we're not aware, we can't make any changes.
That's
Because we don't
right.
know it's there. But then we're like, okay, now I'm aware. And okay, this is a bit, wow, okay, there's actually a few things here. What am I going to do? And when we're aware and this is what I've experienced for myself, and also there's a lot of scientific literature and modalities that are based around it. When we're aware and we lack self compassion,
Mm,
it's a really, really uncomfortable place to be.
yeah. Yeah.
But when we can be compassionate with ourselves and go, okay, I'm aware of this. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I wish that I could be the mum that's out and about and I have lots of energy and I can do all these things with my kids. But when you
Yeah.
have compassion, you go, I would like that. And that's where I'm going towards. But at the moment, right now, I can't. I'm doing the best I can right now.
Mm,
I know that I'm doing the best that I can. And as you said before, it's like my kids love me.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's when you have the compassion, often guilt, shame, those things start to quieten down
Yeah.
when we have compassion for ourselves. And the really cool thing is, physiologically, as you're explaining the endometriosis and the polymyalgia rheumatica, which is basically, for those listening, poly meaning many, myalgia is that sort of muscle and rheumatica is the joints. So it's the pain of your muscles and joints, many of them is basically
Yeah.
polymyalgia rheumatica. And it's an inflammatory thing that can come about. And when we have guilt and shame, which often come from comparison, what happens is our stress hormone goes high in our body. Our
Yeah.
cortisol goes really high, which is really beneficial in a short period of time. Because cortisol, I'm not sure whether you've ever been on cortisone, which is an anti inflammatory. You probably wouldn't have been given your kidney history, but people that have functioning kidneys can often be on cortisone.
Yeah.
They actually, our body suppresses inflammation when our stress hormone goes up in the short term. But when we experience chronic feelings of guilt, of comparison, of shame, all of those things, what happens is our body's own cortisol, our own anti inflammatory, becomes a bit like haywire and our body can't use it as well. It's not as effective. So then inflammation runs rampant in our body. So we can get things like autoimmune conditions, chronic health conditions. All of them are rooted in inflammation.
I think that's what's happened from like chronic stress. You can't see it, but this eyebrow is basically non-existent. I've drawn that on today
That's a
because
very good job. It
my
looks identical to the other one. Couldn't tell.
yeah, my eyebrow felt has fallen out from chronic stress and that lack of compassion and yeah, and I think that that's been a big key player, probably with the endo as well. The inflammation, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it.
Mm. Mm. So that's where it can start with, okay, I know that I'm not where I want to be. I'm aware of, okay, I'm not where I want to be. And sometimes we get to that point and we go, well, the doctors aren't listening to me. They're not listening to me, which 100, well, not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time, it feels like that. And the core feeling is you're not listening to me.
Yeah.
So when that's happening, often what I say to myself, if I feel like I'm not being heard by other people in any context of my life and I experience physical symptoms, I go, my body is telling me I'm not listening to it. I'm the one that's not listening to me. So if I'm getting irritated by other people not listening to me, I'll go, okay, where am I not listening to myself?
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite confronting when you put it like that. And I would say that there's been years of lifestyle, alcohol. Not a yeah. I was drinking more alcohol than I should have drank. Like I said, my sugar addiction and lack of movement, lack of exercise. A lot of those things now. Like I know I was ignoring, and yeah, I could possibly be in a different situation, but I can only move forward with a new outlook, can't I? Yeah,
And you're exactly where you need to be. And the
yeah.
thing is, with this awareness, the next thing is going, wow, okay, well, we can become aware. Okay, well, I want my mum, my sister, my doctor, my friend, whoever it is, to come and help me and save me from this,
Mm.
which people can help, but we're always the one that's responsible for us. I am only responsible for me. Me, on the flip side, being a health practitioner, caring for people, the danger for me is I'm trying to take over responsibility. It's like that never works. If I'm working with someone and I care more about them than they care about them, it's never going to work, ever. I could tell you absolutely all of the things, but it's never going to work. It's the same for me. If I'm seeing someone for help in a certain situation of my life, if I go to an accountant and they go, here you go, here's all of the different things you need to do with all of your accounts and tax and things. And I just go, well, that's your responsibility. It's like, yeah, well, I'm the responsible one. They've got so many other different clients and people that they're working with. It's the same thing with our body and our life in every area.
Mm.
So it's really amazing that you're at that point where you're like, okay, I'm aware. And now I'm starting to realize, when I take responsibility, it feels crap when I'm beating myself up about it and I'm having guilt and shame and going, well, it's all my fault that I've got to this point. It was all me. And this is terrible because I ignored it and I had all these things. But if we go, I'm taking responsibility and I have compassion for myself and I go, well, I ignored all of these things because that was the pattern that I had to develop from a young age of going, well, if there was stuff happening that I couldn't control, ignore it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get past it. Just ignore it until you really can't anymore. And that
Yeah,
helped. That helped a lot. Being bullied,
yeah, yeah,
ignoring, what are you meant to do? It's like
yeah.
sometimes it's like just ignore and just pretend it's not there, just pretend it's not there. How else am I going to survive this?
Exactly,
And now you've got to a
exactly.
point where you're like, wow, okay, me paying attention to this is actually the thing that's going to help me because I'm an adult now.
And and I guess I'm grateful I'm here to tell a story as well. I mean, I've had people online that I've been able to reach out to that have been through what I've been through, and how much that's helped me throughout this journey. Losing the kidney. There's not many people that have lost a kidney from endo, but I've been able to reach out to a couple, and I'm there to also tell a story and help other people too. I'm starting to see the light with my journey. Like, I'm starting to feel, yeah, it's that mental shift and feeling. I mean, look, all of this could change next month. I'm back up at the specialist, and he's going to say yes or no, you can or cannot have surgery, and we want to trial you on some other medicine, or who knows what the future's got for me. But right now I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling like I've got this. I'm ready to make some changes as well. I'm ready to confront those demons that I have carried, and not let them control me anymore.
It's a feeling of being in control.
Somewhat more in control, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Somewhere between the appointments, the advice, and all the fix this content online, you stop feeling like you. But you don't need another expert yelling over your body. You need a space to hear it again. The body led experience was built for that moment, the space between confusion and clarity, between knowing what's not working and learning how to listen in a different way. Inside, you'll get the symptom decoder, a simple process to help you uncover what your body's been trying to tell you medically, functionally, and energetically. plus fundamental support with bite-sized tools to help you support your nervous system, metabolism, nutrients, and blood sugars. And you'll also get guided audio experiences. Think breathwork, pep talks, body love hypnosis, all like a hug for your insides. And the connection doesn't stop with you and your body. You'll be part of a living, breathing community of women rewriting what health looks like together. Women who are creating a whole new relationship with their body and an entirely different kind of health. You'll feel seen, your symptoms won't be dismissed, and neither will you. So come back to your body and come back to yourself. Join us from anywhere in the world at femalefundamentals.com.au or through the link in the show notes. So what advice would you give to any woman that feels like she's out of control or is struggling to get a proper diagnosis?
Just keep on fighting for yourself, because if you feel like it is not right, then it's probably not right. The thing with endo, it can take, they say it can take 10 years to get a diagnosis. It kind of happened the other way around for me. I waited the 10, 15 years until it got so bad and I got the diagnosis straight away. But just keep on fighting. If you're in extreme pain every month, that's not normal. And don't let the doctors tell you that that's just a typical endo sign. Just keep on fighting for yourself, because it's actually more than a bad period. It can be quite dangerous to leave it manifesting in your body. It can be quite dangerous. And I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I've been through. I know that when it comes to my daughter, and I'm going to be on top of it with her, because there's no way I want her to go through what I've been through. Fingers crossed that we don't even have to cross that bridge. But, I just say to people, as many people that I can now, like, that's not normal. If you don't feel like that's normal, then it's probably not. And, just go and get it. Fight for your diagnosis. Fight to have the doctors on your side.
I think it is the power of listening and trusting your body and then
Yeah.
finding someone who's going to listen to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you haven't found
Yeah.
someone that's listening to you, then you need to find someone else. And that's what I would say in addition to what you've just said is, yes, it's really important. Endometriosis is definitely more than just a bad period, and finding someone who can investigate. But even if you've had investigation and they're listening to you and maybe it came back with no endometriosis, they go, oh, well, there's nothing there. There's nothing wrong. And then you're stuck in the, but my body is still telling me this. And now I've been fighting for this maybe diagnosis, which is a label, a description to tell me what's going on. It's not telling me an explanation. It's just telling me a description. When someone says, well, there is nothing wrong, you can go to a different person in a different field. So that's where you're like, okay, I've gone to the experts in this field and they've said there's nothing wrong. Okay, I'm going to go to a different expert because I'm trusting my body is still telling me something's going on and I need to investigate this. It's sort of like if you have a leaky toilet at your house and you call the painter and you say, so is there something going on with this? Or do you know how to fix this? And they go, looks all fine to me. I don't know. It's like, wrong person for the thing. Maybe you call the plumber and they go, yeah, exactly. I can see this. Definitely there's an issue. We can help with this. I know what's going on. You're like, oh, amazing. Great. I'm not going crazy. The toilet is leaking. But you're trusting yourself because you're like, I knew that there was something going on with the toilet. Not that I'm calling your body a toilet, but just in this
No.
example,
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
always, as you said, it's like trust yourself, advocate for yourself, find someone that's going to listen to you. So then you can actually make understanding what your body is actually trying to tell you and you're hearing it. So I love that. That's really great.
Yeah, and I kind of wish I'd done a bit more research about the medicine. The doctors, I feel backed into a corner. I feel backed into a corner to take this. Like, you have to do this, where maybe there could have been an alternative for me, because now I'm in this stage where it has affected my body in other ways. So just I guess if I felt like I could have taken the control with that situation as well. I guess for years of not being in control, and then finally having a diagnosis, and then handing over my power to the doctor then and saying, okay, what you've said to do, I'm going to do it because, you said that that's going to fix me. So just maybe, yeah, just trying to stay in control with that sense as well. I don't know how to fix the endo. I don't know how to fix it, but I do know that being so mentally ill from the medication they've given me is not the right answer for me. At this stage, I'm not a candidate for surgery because of the severity of what's going on in my body. I believe I'm at a stage where I need part of my bowel removed as well, and that could give me like a lifelong disability. So I don't know what the answer is yet, but yeah, I guess I'm going to just stay on this track of trying to be more in tune, more trusting of what my body is telling me. Um,
And
yeah,
following those little things of, when I did that, I felt good.
yeah, yeah,
Because and this is exactly what you're saying. Sometimes, like, I don't know whether that is my only option or I feel backed into a corner. And that's where, when we're only using one lens, and this is where I talk about the female fundamentals, we're incorporating the medical, the functional, the energetic, understanding and possible tools that can help you with whatever symptom that you have. So
yeah.
in your instance, it's that endometriosis. So medically, they're saying it's too far for us to do surgery, from an opinion of that surgeon that you saw. Here's some medication that's going to block estrogen, as estrogen feeds that type of tissue, which can grow and can make it proliferate and it can expand in your body. So that's from the medical standpoint, which is, you're like, well, it sounds like you're like, well, I feel backed into a corner. I don't really want to do
Yeah.
that, or I don't really know what else to do. Like, so I can't have surgery, but I don't want to take this medication. Now I feel like I'm sort of lost. I don't know why that's happening. So then, where, if anyone that's listening or yourself, when we feel like we're in this state, we could go, okay, well, my body is doing this for some reason. I do not like at all how I feel, and I wish it wasn't doing it. But if I could have compassion and knew that my body was always looking out for me, why would I feel like my body was doing this? So this is where we go into, okay, now we can look at your body functionally, and we can also look at it energetically. We look at the three sort of levels, because sometimes we need a combination. Sometimes we just need to focus on one or the other. Depends. So when we're like, okay, medically, I'm sort of at a bit of a crossroads. I don't really know what's going on there. I'm seeing people. That's great. Okay, functionally, I can do that. I'm responsible. I'm the one in the driver's seat. I've got a bit of control. This feels nice. It feels a bit like daunting because, shit, I have to take care of myself, but also, how cool, I have control. It's not someone else. And this is where functionally we look at those four fundamentals, which is nervous system, metabolism, nutrients, and blood sugars. And when we give our body those needs, often hormones settle down, our estrogen starts to settle down itself. Our body can start to lose weight automatically because we're calming our nervous system. It's interesting when you said before, I gained 8 kilos in a month. So I think that a lot of that's fluid. When our body is in a state of stress, it goes, well, I know exactly the thing to do. I don't know whether we're going to get out of this stress soon or not. There could be a bushfire, it could be a drought. That's what our primal brain's doing. So it goes, I'm going to store water for you, and I'm going to store energy for you. So I'm going to pack on some fat, pack on some
It's a
fluid.
protection. My body is trying to, and I'm a chronic stress head. I have been my whole life. And I sat in bed the other night with my husband, and I was stressing over finances, bills coming in, finances. I was starting to feel my heart rate pick up and starting to feeling a bit edgy. And then I talked it out with him, and I'm like, well, there's no point to this stress right now, is it? It's not going to change my bank balance. It's not going to make the bills go away. So why am I worrying about it? Like, why am I letting my body feel physically ill from this stress, And it kind of just, I was able to stop it and, and just felt more relaxed. I felt more calm, yeah, why am I doing this to myself?
And how
It's going to
amazing.
have no effect on the outcome whatsoever. Yeah, I don't need to be feeling like this.
And you say at the very start, I just fear that I'm going to miss something. I'm not going to pick it up. Someone that has that level of awareness that goes, why, hang on a second, why am I even stressing about these things? Because that isn't even helping me. That's someone that has a fair level of awareness, I would say.
That's a very new thing for me. I was quite impressed with myself. I was like, yeah, before I would get all worked up, I'd get into a big, I'd start sweating and stressing, and I could be in tears my whole life. I'm a catastrophizer. I have been a catastrophizer, but yeah, I guess I just need to work on reducing that level of stress, to reducing that cortisol. I do believe that's had a big impact in my endo, being in that chronic stress, being in that state of chronic stress, along with lifestyle. If I was to pinpoint two things, I'd say that's what they would be.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing. As like medically, we need medical help when there's something acute and traumatic and it comes out of nowhere, like a car accident or you break a bone or you do something like that, or an infection. Medical care is amazing for that. It's also really great when we have ignored symptoms or haven't cared for our body and the lifestyle and the things we need for a long period of time. So you're just working in reverse. You're going, oh, okay, well, if I had to pinpoint it, I would say stress is a big factor and lifestyle, which is the other three fundamentals which I talk about, which is metabolism, nutrients, and blood sugars.
Yeah.
So nervous system is the stress one. So you already know. So this is the thing. Often when we're like, oh, I don't know, the doctor's going to know more than I'm going to know, and I just have to sort of trust them, and I just do whatever they're going to say. We all know. We all really deep down know, which is exactly sort of how you've come to this conclusion at the end. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And now it's giving yourself the grace and compassion to go, crap, I didn't pick myself at that time. I missed that, like knowing, oh, I flew off the rails then and I allowed the overwhelm to take over me. I really wish I didn't allow that. But it's like, again, you're still aware that happened. How great. Every day is a new day. Every moment's a new moment. Your body is always adapting and changing. So I feel like from the start of this conversation to the end, you've come a long way even on this, but also I can hear the journey that you've come along with. And I know that you're at this point waiting to hear back what's happening medically. What can they do? Is there surgery? Is that possible? I think regardless of whatever happens with that, one, it's great that you're seeking that care, but also you already know the different things to be doing in the other parts of your life and you're already doing them.
Yeah. And that's what I've got control over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how lovely is that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty nice to realize that and, have that compassion, have faith in myself and my own abilities um to take control, to take the lead. I guess I've come this far and I can continue. I can only go up. It can only get better from here.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
I love that. And I just want to add a sentiment to that. I know for myself when sometimes I feel like I feel a lot of responsibility in one area or another with my life. Taking responsibility gives us control. If we don't take responsibility, then we don't have control. It's sort of like when you're driving in the car, you said you have two young kids and a husband. Whoever's driving the car is the one that you give the most responsibility to. Like you wouldn't tell one of your young daughters to drive the car.
No.
It would be you or your husband, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, because we trust you the most and we're giving you the responsibility. So you have control. But when we are like, okay, I'm assuming responsibility, and yes, I've done some things that have led me to this, but now I have responsibility, the level of responsibility can feel heavy and not a nice feeling when we lack compassion for ourselves.
Okay.
So, and this is what I have learned personally with different areas of my life. When I have compassion for myself, then the responsibility is like, okay, this is great. Like I can decide, and whatever I'm doing is impacting my life how I would wish it to. Obviously, there's lots of other factors that come, but I know that I'm in control and I will alter with whatever's happening. And I have compassion for myself. If it stuffs up, if I miss something, if I accidentally do something that affects someone in a way I didn't want to. So I have compassion for myself, because otherwise responsibility without compassion is like, well, this feels like, well, I've got to take on all of the crap stuff that happens is my fault, and all of it's like, it's all my fault. But when we have compassion, it's like, okay, that's great. I have control. I feel a lot more in control. So that's one thing I just want to add, because I know myself personally, I've felt like that a lot, and I can see it in a lot of other people. When we lack that compassion, the responsibility can feel a bit overwhelming as opposed to empowering.
I think you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. So Nicole, thank you so much for sharing your story. I just wanted to end on one final question that we ask everyone at the end of these episodes, is what does listening to your body mean to you today?
Trust my body. Listening to my body. Yeah, just having trust that it is, it's either giving me an indication of something that might be happening, or it is also healing itself, trusting that it can heal itself.
Trust.
Listening and trusting.
I love that. Nicole, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much.
If this episode resonated and you feel like you're stuck in the space between symptoms and solutions, you're not alone. I've been there too, and that's why I created all of this. From the book, if you're just starting to listen, or the test if you want clarity your bloods couldn't give you, or the body-led experience if you've tried doing it all and still feel flat. Well, sometimes you need something specific, like one of our symptom series, for a deep dive support on topics like fatigue and menopause. So wherever you start, just know your body's already guiding you. Share this with someone who needs it, and don't forget to follow and rate the show. Please remember, this episode is for educational purposes only. Always consult a qualified health practitioner before making any medical decisions. Every body is different, and so is every healing journey.